All right. Hi, everyone. Sorry if the quality of this is not very good. This is the first time I've ever done a screen recording with my phone. I figured this would be the easiest way to do this. But anyway, I wanted to show my Spotify Wrapped because later on, maybe at the end of the year or beginning of next year, I'm going to be doing videos explaining all of my favorite music that I've been listening to this year. I'm going to do like a top, I don't know, however many albums and songs that I have to share. That's something I really want to do. So I figured, maybe this will be a fun little tie in with it. This was a pretty interesting year for me where I think I probably listened to more new stuff than I ever had in my life. Even then, I didn't listen to like a crazy amount, but still, for me, who usually just finds a rotation of albums and songs and sticks with them forever, it was a pretty diverse year for me. Every single year, there's a period of time where I pretty much exclusively listen to one artist. And that didn't happen this year. I didn't go a single month like having one particular artist or album or whatever on repeat. So I actually have no idea what's going to be in my wrap. This is going to be very, very interesting. So you're going to kind of go on this journey along with me. So yeah, I can tell you this though. I definitely know I listened to a lot of metal this year. This was the year of metal. I kind of said so at the beginning of the year because like one of the first albums that came out was the new Underoath album, and I'm like, this is going to be the year of metalcore for me, and it very much was. So I can tell you that's going to be my number one genre, and a lot of artists are going to be at the top there. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. Hopefully this actually works. All right, cool. All right, that's a Poppy song, which came out last year actually. But it's a song I definitely liked a lot. It was at the top of my list, close to the top of my favorite songs list last year. It's a Jack White song. 33 different genres. That doesn't sound like a lot, actually. I guess right, rock, anime, idol rock, hip hop, metalcore. Metalcore was number 5? Really? Idol rock was number 3. I'm. Okay, now I'm even more confused. That doesn't sound right at all. 30. That's more than 87% of other listeners in the United States. 37,000, almost 38,000 minutes. All right. With one song, it was Love at First Listen. Heidi Ho, is this my number one song? 60 times. I love this freaking song, though. So that makes sense. 3,000 songs. Oh no, Maury Calliope trigger warning. Wow! Dead on Arrival was number 2. This sounds about right. Oh, can I wish I could pause this. It'll have like a recap at the end, so yeah. My top 100 songs, I add the library. We go through that. Oh, was Rise Against number 1? That both surprises me and doesn't surprise me, because Rise Against is my favorite band of all together. But I don't feel like I listened to them that much this year, at least compared to, other years. But all right. So this is Dead Poet Society. I thought this was going to be number 1. They were number 2, pretty definitively, I'm sure. I saw this band twice live this year, so I'm just kind of surprised Death Grips made it. How did Death Grips make it? Death Grips somehow makes it in every single year. Again, I don't usually, I didn't have a particular period of time where I listened to them a lot, but anyway. Alright, my own podcast is number 2. That's freaking hilarious. Well, one of my podcasts is number 2. There's another podcast I have that didn't make the cut, so that's interesting. Time to meet your listening personality. The Adventurer. It did feel like a bit of an adventure. The NVU. NVU. Exploration, newness, variety, uniqueness. Alright. That could probably explain a lot of other artists, but whatever. A lot of other people. Alright. So is this gonna play the whole time? I'll turn that down so I don't get Copyright stricken. All right, so top artist: Rise Against Dead Poet Society, A Crowd of Rebellion, Jack White, Death Grips. Kind of thought a little bit surprised that A Crowd of Rebellion made it in there. That's interesting. They are an artist that I revisit a lot. And last year, I got into them last year, and they were a band that had like a 2 month period where I only listened to them basically. Even though Rise Against was still my number one favorite artist, although they had a new album that year, so that's kind of why. And Rise Against did have a new release this year as well, but it wasn't one that I listened to a lot. So yeah, I'm surprised it's Rise Against this year. I really thought it was going to be Dead Poet Society, just because I listened to uh, their their debut album so much. Their album um, that came out last year was my favorite album of 2021, but I didn't get into it until late into the year. It was like the last thing I listened to before, like closing on my music list. So yeah, I didn't get into them until late last year, and I spent a lot of the early part of the year listening to that. And I mean, it's a great album. I just love listening to that. I revisit it a lot. And again, like I said, I saw this band twice live this year. So yeah, surprised they didn't make number one. That's maybe Spotify just knows that Rise Against is my one true music love. Top songs though, Heidi Ho by Jack White, which for a while I thought might be my number one song of the year. Not entirely sure right now. A very very close contender is The White Raven on that same album. So that's yeah, I'm still not sure where it's going to what my top songs list is going to look like. My own like personal top songs list. I want to see what my playlist is going to be like. That will be interesting. Then Dead on Arrival by Maria Calliope. Yeah, I had that on loop a lot when it came out, and I'm like, this is the best thing ever. This is my favorite song of the year. Actually, a little bit surprised that Callie wasn't in my top five artists. I kind of thought I listened to her a lot this year, but oh well. And then Rotoscope by Spirit Box, just a freaking awesome song. That's going to be close to the top of my songs list this year. That's a song that if I got into the song earlier into the year, it'd probably be number one, because since I found it in I think I first heard that song in September or so, and it has been on loop like ever since then. Like every now and then, I just listen to it like 5 times in a row. So maybe if I found that song a little bit sooner, that would have been number one. And then number five is a Japanese song. It is Kyusei Argyros, or I have no idea how to fuck pronounce it, but it's a Yosei Teikoku song. It's the ending song for Tokyo ESP, if anyone's familiar with that. A little bit surprised Yosei Teikoku isn't on my top artist list, because I thought I listened to them a lot as well. They're my favorite Japanese band of all time. I revisit them a ton, revisit a lot of their music a ton. There was actually a song that they have on one of their older albums that I didn't take too much seriously when I was first getting into this band, but like for whatever reason, like several years later, it's just one song. This one song I just looped like over and over again. I'm like, wait a minute, they had this song that's super good that I just never realized. But yeah, so that's my top 5 artists and songs in terms of plays. Oh, I still want to see if I could like play this, or like pause it. I don't need to know this. What was there one? What did I want to listen to? 3,000 songs. I wonder if that's particularly high. 530 artists. That definitely seems like way more than usual. I think I'm usually at like in the 200s or 300s. That I don't know. Podcasting. I don't know. Okay, I guess that's not that big of a deal. Okay, I guess I will just say, um, genres. This is what I wanted to listen to, or wanted to see again. 33 genres does not seem like a lot. Maybe Spotify diversified their or like undiversified their list of genres. Because I know that a couple years ago, me and my friends were looking at we were comparing our Spotify Wrapped, and we're just like, what is this genre? What is this genre? And like, because they would say like, oh, you listen to a lot of escape room, and it's like, what the fuck even is that, dude? They have a lot of genres that don't make a lot of sense. So rock, anime, idol rock, hip hop, metalcore. Hmm. Where the hell does the idol rock come from? I'm actually not really sure where that's coming from. Like, is that like is Maury Calliope idol rock? I would not say so. Anime makes sense. Like, I guess these make sense. I was just a little bit surprised to see not a lot of metalcore. Like metalcore number 5, even like below hip hop. I don't even think I listened to a lot of hip hop this year. Very strange. So I guess we'll see what my is this it? My top songs. Okay, so this is my playlist. This is my top 100 songs of the year. So we'll see for ourselves how this went for. I guess where. Like, sorry, I guess how this influences the genres. So "Devil in Your Heart" by Sim. Actually, kind of surprised this wasn't in my top 5 because I listened to this song a freaking ton. So I got into Sim this year because at the beginning of the year they did the opening for the new Attack on Titan, which I was a big fan of. So I started listening to their albums and stuff, and they had this one song that can I get rid of this? Shit. Oh well, I guess we're just stuck with that. Um, what was I saying? Yeah. So I was listening to their albums, and they had this one song that really stood out to me, and I'm like, oh, this song's super catchy. Just a really fun, kind of weird, quirky metal song, and it's a lot of fun. And then I go on YouTube, and all the comments are saying that it's just Chainsaw Man. Like the whole song is just the plot of Chainsaw Man, and everyone was thinking, oh, this should be the OP for Chainsaw Man, Chainsaw Man, Chainsaw. And I'm like, okay, sure, why not? And that kind of made me love it a little bit more, where I was like listening to it kind of in anticipation for Chainsaw Man, and it would fit really, really well. Although, and I am kind of surprised Sim isn't on the Chainsaw Man anime. Maybe next season, maybe next time. All right, there's a Dead Poet Society song. Actually, surprised it's this one. Although this one did make my list for last year, my top songs last year, because this album that it came from, it has a lot of songs that it came out before 2021. So for my best songs of 2021, it's like, well, I can't include those because they're older songs. They had to have come out in 2021. So by process of elimination, even though this is like my 5th favorite song on the album or so, this was just the one that came out, the best one that came out in 2021. So maybe if it's including my list for or how many times I listened to my top uh, however many songs of 2021. I guess that would influence it a lot. I'm not entirely sure when I did that a lot. Maybe in December or in January. If it counts December plays, then this would definitely make a lot more sense. So yeah. All right, Tatsumaki by Crowd Rebellion. This was a song that came out this year, and it is definitely one that I revisited a lot. It's not one that I'm super enthusiastic about right now, but when this song came out, and it did come out at the beginning of the year. I think this was a January release. I was really, really impressed with it, and so I did listen to it a lot. So I guess I'm not that surprised that it made my top 10. I'm at number 8. Yeah, this is my number 8 most played song of the year. I um I have a list of songs. So for my top songs of whatever, I actually keep track of them throughout the year, where I'll listen to a song that came out this year, and then I'll be like, "Oh, this is, a good song," and I'll add it to a playlist so that I just have all of the songs that I really liked throughout the year in this one list. And every now and then I'll come back to that list and just play it on shuffle. So I'm listening to my new releases a lot. So this song coming out so early probably means it just appeared on this list, and I listened to this list a lot throughout the year. So yeah, I guess it makes sense that this would be a pretty popular song for me. Cardinal Red by Monuments. This was another pretty early release. I think this came out in February or so. And yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite songs of the year. This song is just freaking awesome. Definitely one of my favorite metal releases this year. I wasn't like super impressed with the album this came from. In fact, the first time I listened to this album, I was thoroughly nonplussed by it. I'm just like, this kind of sucks. I'm not really into this. Then I came back to it a little bit later, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is pretty good. But even still, either way, Cardinal Red has really stood out to me. I just love the structure of this song. The breakdowns are super fun. It's the melodies that they incorporate into it. Born to raid the world of all its natural beauty. Just a really, really good song overall. So yeah, definitely one of the best metal tracks this year. Monarch by Rise Against. A song that came out last year from their new album, but one that just this song just really blew me away when it came out because this song sounds like old Rise Against. And by old Rise Against, I mean like their first two albums. It sounds like a song that came from their second album in 2003. And I did not think that this band, where everyone is now in their 40s, would be able to do this ever again. Like I didn't think they would make a song that sounded like this ever again. So it's a very special song for me, and it was one of my favorite songs of 2021. It was my number 2 song in 2021, which maybe the fact that it's more played this year than my number 1 song, maybe that says something. Nah, it doesn't say anything. It's just that I love Rise Against a lot, and I revisit Rise Against a lot. So yeah, Coda by Dead Poet Society, the actual best song on this album, but it came out before 2021. But yeah, super good song. If there's a song that I could introduce people to, like if I wanted to introduce Dead Poet Society to people, and I only had one song to do so, it would be Coda, because I think it might be their best song, but in general, it's just a really really good song that kind of gets across their sound really really well. And yeah, so I think this is actually past the top 10 now. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Monarch was the 10th. Nine Eye is 12th. Nine Eye was my favorite song of last year. I was just freaking obsessed with Nine Eye last year. The first time I heard this song, I was like, this is the best thing ever. It's just a really good song. I don't know how else to explain it. I just think everything this song does is super super good. It's just really well made. The production is awesome. The rhyming scheme in the lyrics, even though I don't understand the lyrics at all, the way it uses all these Japanese words and the way it ties them together and rhymes them and repeats them, it's just really really awesome. The song is just so catchy, and I love the style of it. That like gothic pop style is just really really cool. Leather Wings by Thornhill, one of my favorite releases this year. It's basically a Deftones song, but that's awesome. I know, like Thornhill, kind of for better or for worse, their album this year is everyone just says, oh, it's just Muse and Deftones put together. And some people might say that use that as a criticism. I say it very amicably because I love Deftones and I used to love Muse, old Muse, okay? So yeah, this song is just one that I came back to a lot. Really, really fun, really, really catchy. And I think it came out relatively early in the year, so yeah, I definitely listened to it a lot when I first heard it. Huge W by Maury Calliope. If you want to cringe like super hard at something, listen to this song. It's so stupid. It's one of the dumbest songs I've ever heard, but this is exactly why I love Maury Calliope, because her music, it's just like, as dumb as it is, it's fun. I just enjoy it. What can I say? I think like I always hear criticisms about Callie and just like, oh, she's like so bad at this or whatever. She's not a good rapper. She's not a real rapper. And it's like, dude, like, don't take it that seriously. I don't think her music is meant to be taken that seriously. I mean, you can take it seriously if you really want, but I think that a lot of it is just pure fun. And Huge W is a song where she was clearly just fucking around and just making dumb shit. Maybe in a way to bait people, because like she's like bragging on this song, but in a way it sounds like shit because it's like this. The beat is just this fucking wild, nonsensical dubstep fucking assault, and it's hilarious. But yeah, I kind of came back to it for that reason because that song just gets so crazy and weird. All right, I'll speed through this a little bit more. More Dead Poet Society, more Crowd of Rebellion. The song. So I got into Royal Blood late last year, and this is my favorite Royal Blood song. So yeah, I listen to that a lot. Got a Jack White song there. Say Cheese by Poppy was one of my, I think my number three song from last year. So that kind of makes sense. That would be on there. Negative Noise by Tetrarch. That's a band that I saw this year, and I had never heard of this band at all going into that. But well, I mean, I'd heard. Well, okay, let me start over. So I saw this band earlier this year, and I had never heard of them. So in anticipation for that concert, I listened to their music, and this song really stood out to me. Just a really really good metal track. Tetrarch is a lot like old Slipknot, like Iowa. I mean, they're not as heavy as Iowa or anything, but that's definitely their inspiration. Like they're very much inspired by early Slipknot, and their vocalist definitely sounds like he's trying, like he's doing his own thing, but it's very much inspired by Corey Taylor, and the way he sings is a little bit more like Chester Bennington. Although then again, who isn't trying to sing like Chester Bennington these days? There are so many bands where the singer is like, "Oh, this sounds like Chester Bennington." He's So Good by Trash Bell, one of my favorite songs from last year. More DPS. Oh, Billy Talent is on here. This is so Billy Talent's one of my favorite bands of all time, and they had an album that came out really early this year. This song really stood out to me. It's my favorite track from this album overall, and one of my favorite Billy Talent songs of all time. So that will definitely be on my list for this year. My personal list, not my most played list, because obviously it already made there. Creature by Lynch. A little bit surprised this is this low. I thought this would be higher. This was a song that I found it in the summer at some point, and I listened to it a lot. This song was just on loop a lot. Just a really really fun Japanese metal track. Yeah, it has just this really cool hook in the beginning where like they go on this like dun, 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 like this kind of marching tempo and rhythm, except with a very very loud percussive emphasis, and it's really really cool. But it's a really fun song with a great structure to it. More Royal Blood, more DPS, Vane FM, The Killing Womb. That's an album that I listened to pretty early on this year, and this song was my favorite track from it. So yeah, more Cali, more Crowd of Rebellion, Sum 41. So I was into Sum 41 as a kid, but I only ever heard their first three albums. So just for whatever reason, later on in the year, or I guess earlier this year, I listened to I got further into their discography for the first time like ever, and listened to their stuff that came out after Chuck, and I realized Screaming Bloody Murder is a really really fucking good album. That really surprised me. I'm just like, wait a minute, I've known this band forever, but no one ever talks about this album, and it's actually their best work. Like, how did that happen? So yeah, I came back to that a lot. All right, I'm just gonna kind of like speed through this now because I think I kind of made my point. So this is the song I was talking about by Yosei Teikuku that I came back to a lot. I'm surprised this is only like halfway in the list. That's really surprising to me. I thought I listened to this song a lot. Wow, I don't know, man. Also, that Dragged Under song, I've come back to this a lot throughout this year. So that surprises me that it's not that much higher. And N95 also. Wait a minute, is that my most played Kendrick song? That doesn't sound right. I thought that I played um, the Heart Part 5 way more than N95. I don't feel like I've listened to N95 that much. Weird, dude. I don't know. Spotify. There's the Heart Part 5, but I don't know. Just very, very weird. I kind of thought I listened to like Cracker Island a lot more. Yeah, huh. Just strange, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes Spotify, their tracking can be kind of weird or off, or maybe even biased. Because I remember in the past, I mean, this hasn't been an issue this year, but I remember in the past, um, I would link my Spotify account to some kind of a analytical um, website where it'll be like, oh, plug your Spotify into this little website and we'll tell you what your favorites are. And then every single one of them will come up like, oh man, you really love listening to Eminem. Like, what is Eminem your favorite artist? You just listen to Eminem all the time. And I'm like, don't know the fuck I don't, dude. I do not listen to Eminem all that much. But for some reason, it's like every time I let something analyze my Spotify history, it's like, oh, Eminem's your number one artist, and then it's like I haven't listened to Eminem like at all since like I don't know 2018 or so, and it's really really weird that it would tell me otherwise. So I don't know. So yeah, lower on the list, basically we're just in just general favorites, things that I just enjoyed throughout the year, basically, as well as some stuff that I found last year. Like most of this is from the last 2 years or so, which, maybe says something about my habits, but that is what it is. But yeah, very interesting, very enlightening. Now I've got my Spotify Wrapped, so I hope you enjoyed this little journey with me, looking at this and analyzing this. If you have any thoughts on this, I would love to hear them. Tell me about your Spotify Wrapped and what you listened to this year. Maybe we'll have some crossovers. Maybe some stuff that you listen to is stuff that I also listen to, and vice versa. That would be pretty cool. So anyway, I will see you later on in the year or early next year when I finally do those lists. Hopefully I'll do those lists. If not, then this is going to look really, really silly.